This past March, two members of the Burlington Police Department accomplished something that, for a myriad of reasons, is actually rather rare: located and arrested a suspect in the scheme to scam a resident. Due to the nature of most scammers, they are often in the shadows and buried online and are hard to locate. Sometimes they aren't even in the country. However, this suspect was from neighboring Connecticut and made the mistake of targeting a keen Burlington senior. The type of scam he tried to employ is one of the more nefarious, dubbed the grandparent scam, as scammers attempt to elicit money from a senior citizen by trying to convince them a loved one is either kidnapped or in jail and they must send either ransom or bail money, in this case bail. Because scam arrests are somewhat unique, we wanted to talk to the two members of the Burlington Police Department involved in the arrest, so I invited them to join me by video conference. Here's our interview. I am now joined by Detective Anne Marie Browne and Officer Jillisa Smith. We are going to talk about a March 4th arrest of Erick Hernandez-Quezada out of Hartford, Connecticut, who was part of a scam or allegedly part of a scam where he contacted a Burlington resident pretending to be an attorney. So thank you both for joining me. I appreciate you taking some time to do this Zoom conference.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So can you just give me a little background about what the incident was about?
Yep. So the resident here in Burlington, she had called because she realized that she was scammed out of a large sum of money, thinking that her son was in trouble, that he had gotten arrested and she needed to help him and bail him out. So she realized pretty quickly that it was a scam, but unfortunately the loss had already happened. So that's how it initiated. She did reach out to us when she realized it.
And so is this a common type of scam where somebody pretends to be someone they're not to try to, get people to fork over money?
Yeah, unfortunately it is, especially with the elder population. There's a lot of phone calls happening all throughout the Northeast, especially is getting hit pretty hard, still continuing through the COVID pandemic as well. So it's unfortunately too common.
In the last week or so, the area cities and towns have received at least 5 to 8 reports of the same sort of scam happening that happened here in town back in March.
And I understand that during these scams, people are sort of meant to feel like a lot of pressures. And is that part of one of the tactics, is sort of like really ramping up and making it seem like an emergency?
I think it depends. Each scam is a little bit different. I've found that it's more of a guilt kind of emotion given, that this is your son or this is your grandson, they really need your help, you're their option, yeah.
They don't want to tell the parents because they're going to get in trouble, so they're reaching out to the grandparents because they're maybe a little bit more understanding, and they get in trouble with if their parents were contacted.
Oh, so kind of using family dynamics against the person.
Yeah.
So, like you said, these are pretty common. We don't see, or at least I haven't noticed, a ton of arrests in this regard. So what made this case different, that you were actually able to find this individual and make an arrest?
Yeah, so we were very fortunate. The victim, she was very observant. It was honestly, it was all her. She was able to get a plate number. That was huge. Any type of plate number just gives us a good step in the right direction. So having that plate number was big. A lot of the residents in the area had cameras. So one of the residents was able to get a good angle and image of the vehicle to confirm the description. And her description of the individual that came to her door and took the money, it all ended up leading us in the right direction, all of her information.
Excellent. Now, is it normal the case that the person comes in person, or is it often more like a digital transaction?
So it has ended up being, I think recently actually, that couriers have been involved in these cases. Before, I think it was a lot of gift cards, which is still happening, gift cards and more electronic transactions.
Right, and the stores with the gift cards, when they were being used a lot more, would say to people that were buying large amounts of gift cards, they would initiate a conversation that, this scam's going on. And I think that sort of is why they changed to the couriers in most cases now.
Yeah, so the couriers kind of became a little bit more frequent in happening, where they do go right up to the houses, sometimes even enter the residence. So very
Yeah, scary. And so last thing is just, general advice when, if somebody receives a call from somebody, claiming to be an authority figure, but, under dubious, perhaps, circumstances. What should people kind of be on the lookout for?
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend checking in with your family. You have your family's phone numbers. So if somebody's calling saying that they're your son or your grandson, hang up the phone after and call your grandson or call your son or call your daughter, call someone just to confirm if this story is in fact true or false. Because a lot of times the scammers are advising not to tell anyone, don't reach out to anyone. If you go to the bank, come up with a story as to why you're withdrawing so much money. Don't follow along with that. Red flags should come up. Call your relatives, call your loved ones, second guess it. Better safe than sorry.
You can also call the police department and just know that the police department will never come to your house for bail money, and they would never ask for gift cards. And that's the same as we were talking earlier for the IRS or any governmental agency. We don't take gift cards, whether it's from, the Blue Dot cards or Target cards, or any sort of gift cards, period. And, bail, if we're asking for bail, you would come to the police station or to the courthouse to deliver that bail. Nobody would be picking up any money from an individual's home.
Right.
And
All
just being observant, getting as much information, even on the phone, an accent, pick up an accent, notice that. Or if somebody does end up coming to your house, the license plate, description of whoever's there, any of that information.
In one recent case, within the last week or so, the victim asked to take a picture of the courier, and the courier just turned around and walked away. So that was great thinking on that potential victim's part, where they seemed to be a little unsure, and that was in a different town. That they seemed to be unsure, so that's what they asked to take a picture.
Yeah, sometimes just a little kickback will scare them off enough where they don't even want to bother and try. So, and now with the COVID situation, people are wearing masks, so it also makes it a lot more difficult to identify anyone.
Yeah, that's true, because doesn't stand out. Someone's walking down your neighborhood with a mask anymore.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate you both coming on and spending some time talking about this, and congratulations on the arrest. So
Thank you very much.